All right, if you're here hoping I'm going to pull back the curtain on some secret indicator or brand new setup, well, I have to tell you something you might not want to hear. Today, we are not talking about a new strategy. We're talking about something way, way more important, a system for survival. This is a lesson that took me years to finally get, and believe me, it cost me a lot more than just money.
So let's just get right to the point, okay? The reason you keep failing isn't the market, it's not your broker, and it's definitely not bad luck. The problem is you. And look, until you accept that, truly 100% accept it, nothing is going to change for you. You'll just keep blowing up accounts, chasing one strategy after another, and always wondering why it's not working. The moment you finally accept this, that's the moment your trading career can actually begin.
You've read the books, right? You've watched all the videos. You know you're supposed to cut a losing trade. You know you shouldn't revenge trade. But when you're in the heat of the moment, watching that P&L flash red, what happens? You freeze up. You break your own rules. And that gap, that huge canyon between what you know and what you actually do, that's where most traders go to die. It's not a strategy problem. It's an execution problem.
Okay, so acknowledging you're the problem is a massive first step, but it's not enough. You need a framework to actually solve it. You need a system that addresses the real weak points, not the ones in the market, but the ones inside of you. And that's exactly what we're going to build today, a survival system.
This system has 3 parts, and they are absolutely essential and completely interconnected. You can't just pick your favorite or skip one. They only work together. We've got the shield, which is your money management, the map, that's your methodology, and the referee, that's your mindset. So let's dive into this.
First up is the shield. This is your foundation. Your number one job in this business is not to make a profit. It's simply to survive. I'm serious. If you can just stay in the game long enough, you give yourself a chance to learn, to adapt, and eventually to succeed. But without any capital, well, you can't do any of that. Game over.
You know, most new traders, they all ask the same wrong question. And it's a question driven purely by greed. How much can I make on this? But a professional trader, they have a totally different mindset. They ask, how can I protect my capital so I can be here to trade tomorrow? This one little shift in focus, from greed to survival, it changes absolutely everything about how you see the market.
So the crucial point is, you have to act like a young surgeon. They need their patients to survive so they can get better at their craft, right? You need your capital to survive so you can get the experience. This means risking next to nothing when the market is choppy or unclear. It means understanding that sometimes the best, most profitable trade is no trade at all. You only earn the right to get aggressive when you have crystal clear clarity, not when you're just feeling emotional or desperate for a win.
All right, now for the second part, the map. This is your methodology, your edge. And this is where so many people make a huge mistake. They think more is better. They start collecting strategies like their trading cards, just hoping that one of them is going to be the magic bullet.
Let me be clear. Having more strategies is a weakness. It's just an act of ego, a desire to look smart because you know so many things. But what it really does is create confusion and hesitation right at the moment you need to be decisive. A professional doesn't dabble. They find one simple, repeatable pattern and they master it. They trade it again and again and again until it becomes second nature.
This is what real mastery looks like. It's not about being a genius, it's all about repetition. Think about a pro tennis player. They've hit their forehand maybe 10,000, 20,000 times. They don't have to think about it anymore. They just execute. That's what you're aiming for, a deep, earned confidence that gets rid of all hesitation. Because in this game, hesitation is one of the most expensive mistakes you can possibly make.
And now we get to the final part, and honestly, by far the most important part of the entire system, the referee. This is your mindset, your discipline. In my experience, this right here is responsible for over 80% of all trading failures. It's the whole ballgame.
I really want you to let this one sink in. You could have the best, most profitable strategy in the world, but it is completely worthless if you can't execute it properly. Your performance will never be better than your discipline. You will always miss the good trades, cut your winners short, and let your losers run if your mind isn't trained. You'll sit there blaming the strategy, but the problem is the referee inside your head.
You know, let me tell you a quick story. There was a time in my own career when I really thought I was good, that I was smarter than the market. And then I hit a wall. A long, painful period where literally nothing I did worked. Every single trade felt wrong, and my confidence just completely evaporated. And in that period of pain, I was really forced to look at myself honestly for the first time. And what I saw, it was ugly.
I saw a trader taking trades just because he was bored. I saw someone holding on to massive losers because his ego couldn't stand the thought of being wrong. I saw someone being completely controlled by fear and greed.
But you know what? That failure, it became the single most important lesson I ever learned. It stripped away all my illusions, and it forced me to rebuild my entire approach from the ground up. Not on being smart, but on pure discipline. It taught me that my success was never about my intelligence. It was always about my ability to just execute a process, consistently, day in and day out.
So when you finally put the shield, the map, and the referee all together, you realize something pretty profound. The real challenge of trading isn't technical. It's not about finding some perfect indicator on a chart. The real work, the hardest work, is all internal.
And this is what it actually looks like in the day-to-day grind. It's having the discipline to just sit on your hands when there's no clear edge. It's taking a small loss, accepting it, and moving on without getting angry or trying to get revenge. It's trusting your plan and holding that winning trade all the way to its target, even when your heart is pounding out of your chest. It's about being stronger than your most primitive instincts every single day.
Look, success in this business isn't given to the smartest people or the luckiest. It's given to those who survive long enough to actually deserve it. It's given to the people who protect their capital, who master one simple edge, and, most importantly, who master themselves. So the only question left to ask is, are you willing to stop looking for all the shortcuts and finally do the real work?